Hi guys, this is Kyle from Kyle and Court, and I'm kicking off this week's topic, which is books for toddlers, toddler-friendly books, I guess, to be reading. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what we do for Sophie. She has a lot of books to read. Been blessed, kind of like my parents kept my collection of books, and so it got passed along to us. So she has way more books than she's actually read at this point. So she has basically a pick of the litter, and we try to introduce a lot of new books to her, but we definitely have books that we introduce in a certain way. We do a lot of nighttime reading, and every time we go to night-night, I usually offer her a couple of suggestions that she's read before and one new one as a way to kind of introduce them. So anyway, I'm going to talk about the kinds of books that we like to read to her. The first kind of book that we like to read to her are books about things you do in the everyday world. So like this is our example, is Richard Scarry's Nikki Goes to the Doctor. Obviously your kid goes to the doctor, they want to know what's going on. It's a great book, this one in particular, because she really likes, a lot of the drawings in it are funny. She can relate to it. But a key thing there is like anything that's related to things they actually do, going to see grandma, going to the doctor, books about if they're having a new baby brother or sister, get a book about that. That's always a good one. The second one is characters that they have been introduced to in other mediums. So if they're watching television, I know the example I'm giving here is, Huey, Dewey, and Louie from the Disney cartoons. We've been showing her a lot of Disney cartoons, so she likes those characters. She knows them by name. So you bring a story in about them, and she's really engaged in the story already. You can do the same thing with any characters that you guys watch, whether it's Dora the Explorer, Winnie the Pooh, whoever it's going to be. Those are great books to read. Kind of just it's kind of a free way to engage them because they already like those characters and want to hear more about them. This book actually kind of combines my three loves, which is one, a character that they are very well in tune with, in this case Santa Claus, something that they do in the real world, which, Sophie, she's, 2.5 and is about to go through her first kind of Christmas that she will remember and be excited for, so obviously books about the night before Christmas excited. And then the third thing, of course, is this is a pop-up book. Interactive books are great for kids because, like I said, you can stop and show them kind of every little thing. You let them pull the tabs. They get really engaged in the book. Obviously, it's a learning skill, just all the little motor skills and things like that. But just the key thing here is just like, for her, it's a toy more than a book in a way, and so that kind of combines both because there's words on the page and she gets to read. And so, as far as books go, you really want to kind of, at this point, you're really kind of transitioning the kid from like you're just reading to them and they're just listening to, they're actually looking at the words, they're looking at the pictures with the words, you're repeating words to them or showing them words that they've seen before. That's, a lot of these is showing them things that you're trying to associate the words that they're learning and the things that they're learning about with the books and the words on the page. So anyway, at the end, I'm supposed to show you 3 books I recommend. Obviously, the books that I just showed you I recommend, and so one of those books was by Richard Scarry. Basically, every book by Richard Scarry is awesome. They're just full of hilarious things. This book in particular is Cars and Trucks and Things That Go. This book is great because in addition to all the real trucks and cars and ambulances and all the things, tractors and everything that a kid loves about books, they've got tons of funny pictures in here, like, cars with pumpkins and alligator cars on the front. So kids, they just find it, they think it's hilarious. So every little thing is silly to her, and she loves that book. The second book that I'm going to recommend, and I guess this is kind of a fourth category of book to read, which is the bedroom staple. This book is basically read to her every night. This is Princess Baby Night Night by Katz. It's short, it's sweet, it's to the point. The last page ends with the perfect bedtime story, which is, it ends on Princess Baby Night Night. Any book that ends with the characters going to sleep is a good book to read. And basically when we read it to her every night, she gets to know it really well. She knows it means it's nighttime. It's, it's just it becomes more of the, nighttime experience and not so much about the reading. And the third book I'm going to recommend is a kind of book we just kind of found on a whim at a bookstore. It happened to be called Wild Wild Adventures, but there's actually a lot of them in a series, and it's called the Follow the Flaps series. And it's basically kind of like a scavenger hunt, a little interactive. So you start with like one picture, and then they have a flap underneath it. I don't know if you can see that too well. But there's a flap, which then leads to another picture, which leads to another flap, which leads to another picture, and so on and so forth. And there's basically like about, 10, 12 pages or so, but kids love it. Sophie really loves like following the pictures. She's actually memorized this entire book, which is, in a way, it's a pain, but there's always more books you can get, so that's nice. But, it just really teaches them, to follow things, to learn like cause and effect and memory, There's reading involved with it, so I mean, she gets a lot of that, and she learns a lot of new vocabulary. I really can't recommend these enough. The Follow the Flat books, I mean, she just went to town on it. So anyway, those are our books that we recommended. That's what we recommend about toddler reading. You guys can follow on to the rest of the videos and keep up with everyone else's thoughts on it. You guys have a good one. Bye.